Hi, I'm Michael Monasterial. I'm speaking here from the rooftop of the Omni Hotel in downtown Louisville, Kentucky. We came here to spend the holiday, 4th of July weekend with my wife's family. It was a great weekend, great event, great time together. We have to go out of our way to spend time with the people we love because we get so busy. We don't take that time to let them know we love them and how our life actually influences them by the time we spend. In fact, that's what my talk is about today, about the time we spend. The time we spend doing things that are so important to us, that are important not only to us, but important to all humanity. Last week, the talk I gave was about enlightenment being a contact sport. Well, I didn't really finish it because the other important part of that sermon was that the contact sport, the word contact, um, in an electrical circuit, the 2 points that meet that make the circuit flow, it's the contact, the point of contact. Your battery in your car has contacts. Um, every source in your telephone, they have little microscopic topics, contacts that one wire goes to another wire that completes a circuit that makes the energy flow through the system. We have contacts in our life. We have a contact list. We used to have a Rolodex. No, I'm dating myself. Used to have the Rolodex before there were smartphones, and we'd actually have people's names of people we met with cards in them. Their cards. The cards that you met is my new contact. And John would have a thing, so his resources would flow to me, or Mary, or what have you, would flow to me because of the card. The card was the contact, and that contact information, so that I could reach out to them and connect. It's not also not a new concept that if we start our day in prayer meditation to improve our conscious contact with God, we cannot contact God unless we take the time, focus the energy, and the intention is to contact God. Just get in the space, not ask for a list. God, and when I was a kid, was Santa Claus to me. In fact, God until recently was Santa Claus to me. Everything I needed, help me do this today, and help me do that today, and help this work out, and you know, anoint this, improve this. I had a shopping list when I got quiet, and really the shopping list was just noise asking for whatever I wanted. And the peace and the joy and the fulfillment of all those things, my health, my prosperity, my joy, my relationships, everything I have, was when I stopped asking and I started just being, abiding, as they used to say in the scripture, abiding, taking just time, like a tithe. Start your day, take that time right off the top, the cream right off the top of when you first wake up, and just spend some moments in the consciousness, in the time, and you will see the amazing changes that will happen in your life. I was such a, I mean, I was that guy. 5 o'clock in the morning, by 5:02, I'm out of my bed and I'm on with my day. I might go to the gym. I might get on the phone. I might make messages. I might get in my truck and go to Home Depot. Whatever I was doing, I was hitting it every day, first thing, early as I could. And why am I so much more productive now when I don't start my day running? In fact, I start my day being still. That's all an addendum to what the message that came to me this week was. All the things I hate is the name of this sermon. All the things that I hate. So if you could imagine your life in a metaphysical sense, you are you're at a barbecue. 4th of July is perfect, right? So you go on a 4th of July barbecue, and there's your friends and your family. And it's so jovial, and everybody's there, and you know your best friends at the barbecue. And he calls, "Hey, Mike," and I said, "Oh, you ready? I'll take it." And the guy said, "Oh, no, it's not cooked yet. When I'm almost ready to put him, when I'm almost ready, I'll ask you what you want, and then you just call it out, and then we'll have a plate for you, exactly what you wanted." I said, "Great." So I come into the barbecue. I have friends. I hang out. He calls to me, and he says, "Mike, what do you want?" And I call back and I say, oh, I don't want a hot dog. He says, oh, I don't want a hamburger. I say, and uh, in fact, I want it. I want a piece of chicken, but I don't want it overcooked. Okay. And he says, okay. Hanging out, a few minutes pass, you get your plate. Your plate has a hot dog, your plate has a hamburger, and your plate has a piece of overcooked chicken. In the law of physics, two things can't occupy the same space. And you understand, we've talked before, that thoughts are things. So if a thought is the wrong thought, it doesn't matter if you're complaining or you're singing to joy or whatever you're doing, it's still a thought and it's a thing. Whatever word you put in front of it, I like it, I hate it, doesn't matter. The thought is the thing. So everything you're complaining about is what your life is created by, because you're spending all that time about it. You know, guys that get divorced complain about their ex-wives all the time. People have jobs and complain about their coworkers, complain about their job, complain about even having a job. There's a musical. I did a lot of theater when I was younger. I love musicals. I guess it's kind of hokey, but this one musical, if you remember it, it's the woman will go on and she made a whole list of these things she loved, right? These are a few of my favorite things. And she go like, I don't know, snowflakes on her lashes and brown paper packages wrapped up in string. These are a few of my favorite things. And then she goes, when the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then they don't seem so bad. That is a course in metaphysics. She replaces the bad things with the good things. And that thought replacement by discipline makes the good things reality. The woman, as a matter of fact, was a nun in real life. She really was a nun. That story of Sound of Music really is a true story. And she's a governess. If she's a nun, and she's like a very, I guess, she wasn't fitting in, they sent her to be a governess at this very strict authoritarian kind of dad with his wonderful kids, and through her love and through her joy, the kids have a better life, and their musical group gets better and everything gets better. And then she winds up marrying the dad. His wife died in those movies. It's kind of classic, but in real life it really happened, and she married this guy and then wrote a book about it. So not only did they escape Nazi Germany, but they also she went on, and not only was it a book, but then it was turned into a musical, Sound of Music, and then it was turned into a movie with Julie Andrews that won Academy Awards. So this woman had nothing. These nuns, they vow poverty, so she starts with absolutely nothing but a faith and a vision. I don't know if in her mind she wanted to be the who's who of Hollywood, in her life, but she certainly wanted a better condition, a better life than she had. And so she saw it. These are a few of my favorite things. Every day, she gave power to those things, those beautiful things, those loving things, those caring things. She gave power to that every single day, and brought joy to that family and healed that family with her love and her, positive energy. And then she went on and gave opportunities for people. Like there weren't a lot of leads in Broadway in that time that were women. In a sense, even though she's a nun and she plays the wife, she really is the motivator, the catalyst for change in that family. So in Sound of Music, the nun, the former nun, is the lead, is really the lead. Now here's this woman became the who's who in Hollywood. A little aside, which is a little sad. They wouldn't let her to go to the openings of these events because she didn't look Hollywood. I don't know what she looked like. The way they described it was she didn't look Hollywood enough. Even though if she was a man, it didn't matter what she looked like. But she was a woman; it mattered what she looked like, and they wouldn't let her go. Very sad. Consider she gave so much positive energy to the world. In the end, they shut her out, because how would it have been if other women who look like her, just every regular people, right, could see her rise to that place of prominence? How encouraging would it have been for women and girls of that era? Just aside. The other example I want to give is, I had a friend whose dad was a lawyer, a local lawyer in Brooklyn, not not like a Wall Street lawyer, just back then with how the neighborhoods were structured, there would be like a local lawyer. You go to his office, he was there, and in the neighborhood, there'd even be a local doctor. There'd be a local butcher. There'd be a local pharmacist. All these people that made up this little community. They were Jewish in Brooklyn, and they had a little tight community, and all the people that made up that community lived there. They were all lived in the same neighborhood. And so he was he was just like a well-liked guy, right? And, well-liked in his congregation, just a really amiable, intelligent, hardworking guy with a big family. And from looking from the outside, very successful in that sense, not financially, but in what counts. Very prosperous, we'd say. So right before he died, it's a few weeks before he dies, and he's in his 90s, and he has some systems break down. I don't remember exactly how she said it, what happened, but they had to rush him to the hospital, and he had him on all kinds of tubes and antibiotics and respirators and all kinds of equipment to keep him alive, to sustain his life. And as soon as he regained consciousness, the nurse in the room asked him how he felt, Mr. Wirtz, and he says, "I am surrounded by love and light," he'd say with a big smile. 2 o'clock in the morning, this nurse in this unit where people, never come out of alive, with all this noise going and the beepers, she's like, what'd you say? And she said, he says, "I am surrounded by love and light," he says with a big smile. And it touches her. So on through the night, when they would come do their shifts, every single nurse would come to him and say, "Mr. Wirtchen, how are you feeling? Can I give you some pain meds or something?" He's like, "I am surrounded by love and light," and give a big smile. She'd smile, and then she would go. And this went on for, I guess, 24 hours, as the story goes, until every single piece of equipment that he was connected to was gone. Every medication he was on was discontinued. And every single person who met him left smiling. The family is just there. Of course, they're there 24 hours in shifts. That's that kind of family, and they're at that point. The doctor's thinking, I'm gonna let this guy go home. Let him. And he continued in his, "I am surrounded by love and light," and touching each and every person in that hospital he came in contact with, and his family. In fact, some of the nurses would get their friends and tell them about this guy and go see him if they were in a bad place. He finally dies peacefully, on to the next stage. Um, but the lesson is in that we don't know why we're here, to who we're going to touch. We don't know what message is going to touch some person where they're living. Somebody could be going through a crisis right now. Somebody could be suicidal right now. Somebody could be feeling the world is overwhelming them and they just want to run away, or they want to use drugs or something to get away from this thing. And they don't see that the joy is within them, and they are surrounded by love and light, because we all are all the time. The law of physics say the two things cannot occupy the same space. So when you see something, I will take water, for example. Water looks very cohesive. In fact, it's made of gases. And how is that possible? Water, you fall into it, it's solid. If you fall from a large place, you'll actually break your bones. It is so dense, it has adhesion. It's real. It's a force of nature. Water does things and changes the way we live. In fact, water is one of the main reasons we can sustain life on planet Earth. But if you take a glass of water, it is gases. So why don't they escape? Or why don't they disassociate? Because two things can't occupy the same space, so that when the water the water atoms bond to make a water molecule, it's energy. It's a field of energy with very little mass. And so when it bonds, the energy bonds, and it's unbreakable. To break a water molecule requires many, many, I forget what it is, 1,400 calories or something, some crazy number as far as the heat and energy goes, to change something that is happens naturally. The point I'm making is that something that looks in this physical realm like it's one way is really, when you look deeper, energy. The energy is what moves. Everything that we see is connected by energy. These buildings that are standing behind me, right? The cars, I don't know if you can hear them out there. Every single thing, the granite tile that I'm standing on right now in front of this pool it's energy. There's more space in between the molecules than there is actual stuff. And the energy is what keeps the whole world here together. So if you follow the logic that thoughts are things in a biblical sense. It says the word. He says the word was with us, right? And the word was God. The word. If your thoughts are things, and the word is the way you convey those things, the word is how I convey my energy, my intention of love and light, and to share with you what I'm thinking. The energy I'm conveying with those words has so much power. All the power of my being is conveyed into those words. And those words are like, they could be explosive. They could be life-changing because of what they represent and because of what they really are. So if we follow the same logic, our thoughts, by changing our thoughts and changing our words, we can change what we see on the outside. Because if outside is only energy, we have energy within us. Therefore, we are created in the image of God to change the outside. And I'm not saying I'm not that person. I can physically fly, although they say there are yogis that could do it, or Jesus could, because he's the Christ. There were people that could do it, that were people, but I'm not at that place. But what I am at the place is I can change my life by the time I put into thinking positive, loving, caring thoughts to myself. The more time you're thinking about God and joy and love, the less time you're complaining. In fact, the time you spend complaining is actually promoting the things that you don't want. You are putting energy in all the things you hate. You're making a list in your head. I hate my boss. I hate my job. I hate the politics. I hate who's in office. I hate who isn't in office. I hate politicians. I hate airplanes interrupting my sermon. I hate anything. The energy I'm putting into that, one, I'm only promoting that, like the guy at the barbecue. I don't want a hot dog. Same thing. But at the same time, I'm not taking the time to promote the things that I do want. There's only so many hours in a day. We only have so many conscious hours. Other than sleeping and working and just getting around, we only have very few precious hours to actually think clear thoughts and and to create intentions and put the energy and time into that it requires. And so the point I'm making is, spend that precious time promoting your life, promoting the world, being positive. Not all the things I hate, but all the things I love. All the things I love. We live better now than we have ever lived as a human race. The condition of our living than ever before. There's less disease than it used to be because we've overcome that. There's less poverty because we've overcome that. Really, as bad as it looks, and as bad as they paint the picture to really scare you, we really are doing better, and we really are evolving to a better place spiritually. Our inside picture is becoming stronger, and makes our outside picture coming stronger. Cures for cancer. Why should people starve when we have so much food? How do we how do we take care of this planet better? There are all these questions that run through our heads that really are solvable if we are looking at the light, if we're focusing on the positive, if we are putting the energy, all that hate, all the things I hate energy, and just switching it around and putting that same energy into affirming affirmations, which I so believe in. I am the master of my destiny. I am the creator of my life. I am. I am responsible for every single thing in my life. I am. I take responsibility because I am at the center of my universe. I am the God within me. I am a part. I am an heir to the kingdom because I am a child of God. I am a child of the Most High God. I am divine. Affirmations change your life because you are confirming that You're not a victim. Things don't just happen to you. You have so much power. Use that power, like superheroes, for good. Anyway, I got to go now. It's getting late, and people are starting to fill up the pool area here. But I just want to share that with you because I love you guys. And that is the truth. And the truth shall set you free. And for this purpose I was born, and for this reason I came into the world. Big at the end. Inhale, exhale. Amen. Thank you.